So the Democrats are mad about these Haitian immigrants again.
Get talked about is some of these TPS recipients, not all but some, have been doctors, lawyers, engineers, teachers who left Haiti. How is Haiti as a nation supposed to rebuild itself when we've brain drained a lot of their talent and planted them in Springfield, Ohio, where that's not fair to the residents of Springfield, Ohio either. And as a nation, we are legally obligated to our own citizens before we're obligated to anybody else. Springfield, Ohio, notice how the migrants are never brought to Nantucket, they're never brought to Beverly Hills, they're never brought to Martha's Vineyard. They're never going to go compete with hedge fund bros who inherited the job from their dad. They're always going to be brought to middle America, places like Springfield, Ohio, where they're going to have to compete with Americans for wages, depreciate those wages.
Now, before we really get into this, we got to clear up the fact that these Haitian immigrants were in fact not sent to Springfield, Ohio by the government. They chose to relocate there en masse. Much as immigrant communities have done throughout the history of the United States, making the effort to maintain cultural homogeneity within some sort of small geographical region, creating, Chinatowns or Little Mexico in Chicago, places like this where they can fully, or to a very great degree, still practice their culture and be amongst others who understand and practice that same culture. And although I'm not inherently against this, the fact of the matter is that sending that large of a population of displaced people to a place that is not a major city with many millions of people does in fact dilute the job market, the wages available to the residents of that, the original residents of that city, town, whatever it may be. And although the government, as I said, did not intentionally send them there, you have to wonder why the government would allow a displaced people to displace American citizens in their own home. Because regardless of how you feel, regardless of how much you may love Haitian immigrants or immigrants generally, regardless of how you may empathize with the suffering of displaced people from foreign nations, the fact of the matter is that you do no one any good by displacing the home citizens, the natural born citizens of a place with displaced people. Democrats have consistently, for at least the last 5 years, if not 10, put foreign national asylees, displaced individuals, over their own people, over their own constituency. And then they act like when people get angry about this, that they're just evil and hateful and hate immigrants and rah, 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 rah. Most Americans don't mind immigrants in the least. Most Americans are happy to frequent immigrant businesses. They are happy to speak with and understand to some degree the culture that these individuals are coming from. What Americans are not okay with is bringing in a foreign culture and allowing it to displace our way of life, allowing it to displace American citizens from jobs, from homes, from safe communities. And for those out there who may disagree with what I'm saying here, all we really need to do is look at Minnesota and the way in which the demographics of the entire state was changed by Somali asylum seekers, immigrants, whatever you want to call them, whatever they may be. And we can also see how they fleeced the taxpayers of Minnesota for billions of dollars so that they could fund lavish lifestyles, not only here in the States, but also second homes in Africa. I really just don't understand where these leftists get the idea that we are somehow responsible for the suffering of the entire world. And don't get me wrong, we'll do a little history lesson real quick. Haiti was a French colony back in the day, long, long time ago. They are the only Caribbean nation, the only colony of, any European nation as far as I'm aware, other than the United States, that used violent revolution to gain their liberation. The only thing is they went a little bit further than us, and instead of just pushing out the colonizers, they slaughtered almost every white person on the island, which I'm not hating on. If you subjected me and my people to many, many, many years of slavery, forced labor, horrors and death, I'd be on the same ish, you feel me? I would be ready to wipe out all of my oppressors. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not holding that against them. And yes, after that fact, we, the United States of America, invaded Haiti. And from 1915 to 1931 or 33, we occupied Haiti. And we too used forced labor. Many thousands of Haitians died. And that was wrong, undoubtedly. But that ended in 1933. No politician that sent our military there, no Marine that served there, And no person that ever voted these politicians into power today is still alive. Yet somehow we are responsible for all of those who are suffering throughout the world. It is our responsibility and duty to fund these people, to protect these people, to bring them into our nation and allow them to alter our culture fundamentally. No, that is not our problem. No one alive today is responsible for the horrors that took place in Haiti under the United States of America or under France. And in reality, France has had a much more detrimental effect on the flourishing or the benefit of Haiti, because they didn't just leave after they were slaughtered. They forced a multi-million, something like $120 million indemnity onto the nation of Haiti, thus making it rather, essentially impossible for them to ever have any sort of prosperity within the country. You know, they were saddled with so much debt right from the inception of their nation that, I mean, they were basically trying to run a race with two broken legs. That's not our fault. That was France. Do you think France is making any great efforts or overtures to try and help these Haitian people? Well, I looked, and conveniently, France doesn't keep track of Haitian immigrant numbers. But what they do is deport them still. So if it's not their responsibility, why is it ours? And why isn't anyone saying that France needs to pull more weight when it comes to it for those that do believe it's our responsibility? Simple fact of the matter, it's not. Simple fact of the matter is, it is time to take care of Americans. It is time to guarantee the prosperity and liberty of Americans. These folks in other countries, they have their own countries. And if they can't get it together there at home, we are not their out to some sort of easier, happier, safer life. We, the American people, at our founding, fought off the mightiest empire to exist in world history. We gained our own independence, and we built from that a nation of prosperity unmatched by any other in the history of mankind. It is not our fault that other nations have been incapable of this. It is not our fault that horrors were subjected upon the people of Haiti by people who no longer live today, under policies we no longer practice today. And as far as I framed everything so far, it's based on the idea or the thought that these leftists are doing all of this because of some sort of suicidal empathy that they have, some sort of guilt just enladen in their soul that they cannot escape, that pushes them to allow people that want nothing to do with our culture, have no intention of assimilating, and every intention of altering the way of life here in America. But I don't think that's it. And I would say that that is evidenced by, well, things like you said, in which all these billions of dollars were sent out to these nations, third world nations, these downtrodden people to help them, when we now know that Democrat politicians, in large part, were lining their pockets with that money. And you can say, oh, there's no evidence, blah, 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 blah. Chelsea Clinton got handed tens of millions of dollars for whatever little bullshit NGO program that she had going. You think that she didn't pay herself pretty goddamn well off that millions of dollars? Come on now, folks. The Democrats don't even care about these people. They are simply a means to an end. It is the putting of a pretty face of generosity and humanity on what is essentially a massive fraud scheme to take from the hardworking American public to enrich the part-time working congressmen and women and NGO heads that are linked to them. It's all about fucking us over. If you don't see that yet, well, go ahead and keep voting Democrat. Because the midterms, as much as you guys think that you've got it in the bag and you're taking back the House and you might even take the Senate, I got some bad news for you. You're not getting the Senate back. And the way things are moving, there's a good chance you're not going to regain the House.